4 things that I stopped doing when I moved here and turned 60. How about you? What are you throwing out of your life at this point? So the first one that needs to go is regrets. And not having regrets, just dwelling on them. How often do you just sit on the couch and your mind starts going? Or, another time that it starts going is when you lay down to fall asleep, right? As soon as you close the door, close the curtains, turn out the lights, bam! It's like an instant download of all the crap you don't want to remember, think about, hear about, do anything about. Those are regrets too, in a way, but we're talking about the regrets like the coulda, shoulda, woulda, oh, if only, oh, I could have been this, I should have been that. Remember when I was this? All those stories about yourself and what you regret, you can't look back like that. You have no idea what could have changed, because look at all the things that happened in your life that you never expected. I want to tell you something. Everything is either good or bad, and it can be both ways. Did you ever think about it? Like, an attorney's job is to argue law, right? Well, he could have a client come to him any day and argue one side or the other side of a particular issue or a problem. There is no right or wrong. There is no good or bad. It's just in the way you look at it. So one of the things you can do about those regrets is reframe them. It's sometimes difficult because of the emotional attachments, and I'm not giving out any kind of psychological help or advice or anything like that here, but it helps to write them down as if they're one of the best things that ever happened to you. Think about all the good things that came out of it, not just the bad things. We just tend to focus on the bad things sometimes. Let me give you a personal story, okay? When I was 19, a boyfriend and I planned to move to Colorado. When we were 20, we moved to Colorado on our own from Michigan. Didn't have money, belongings, anything, just moved there, okay? I thought it was the most amazing adventure I had ever been on. I thought he was all pumped up, just like me, and guess what? He wasn't. But I didn't find out that until 30. I thought we were on this great adventure together. We had so much fun. We traveled all around Colorado. We met the most interesting people. We had the most unusual road trip to get there. And we split up a few years later. He went to Hawaii. I stayed in Colorado. That was the end of our story. We ended up reconnecting through Facebook almost 40 years, 35 years later. Crazy, right? And we had a wonderful weekend together, but he was definitely not the love of my life that I was making him out to be, and have a regret about not working more on that relationship or being better in that relationship than I was. I was young, I was 20, and here all these years I had that regret, and it wasn't even real. Like, we were not the love of each other's life. We were so different, and it was so obvious 35 years later. So, no regrets. Another thing I gave up was seeking approval. Seeking approval is very insidious. Once you start getting rid of the bigger ways that you do it, you'll be able to recognize the smaller ways. Like this. See, she just comes up to me and she pushes on me and I pet her. Okay, I'm seeking her approval, kind of, in a way. Anyway, let's get back to what I wrote in my notes. some of the things that I do are socializing, just for socializing purpose, to have something to do. You're out with people all the time, and maybe you don't want to be out with all those people. I'm evaluating the places I volunteer and the places that I play games and hang out with people, because even one or two of them that I don't like can ruin my whole day without me even being aware of it. Some of those people that you're hanging out with, I always say people are annoying. They are. After 50, all of them are annoying, right? Because we all know our preferences, and it's not easy to just ignore those. Some of the ways that I've learned how to deal with people that, they make a comment about, if they make a comment about something that you're doing, you can just say, well, that's what I decided. Well, I think that works best for me. Well, I'm going to try that, and I'll get back to you, okay? Something like that. Make sure that you're validating your own decisions and what you decide is best for you, instead of looking for approval from others. Let me give you a personal example. For 15 years, I was with a man that didn't suit me at all, but was nearly identical to my father. They could talk on and on for hours about the weirdest things, like where to get a liver sandwich in Wisconsin. And there was one little restaurant tucked away somewhere, and they both knew where it was, okay? Little things like that, and roads they had traveled, and it was almost like they were more friends than he and I were. But boy, did I get the approval from my father. For the first time in my life, it was like dealing with a totally different man. And so I had to make a choice. Was I going to hang out with somebody that was okay? I could do it. I could hang out with him for the rest of my life. But did I really want to? Well, I'm here without him. End of story. You got to do what's right for you. This approval seeking, it's been instilled in us since we were children. You have no idea how many ways it could have been instilled in you. Stop seeking approval. You get to do whatever you want. Which leads me into the third thing that I gave up. Another thing I quit doing was life. I gave up. Like, I just stopped. I got here at 58, and I worked madly at making the inside and the outside of the house all new before I got in it. And then I just sat on the couch. For almost 4 years, I've been sitting on the couch, binging on old sitcoms. Okay, in all fairness, when I was married to my first husband, the only thing I ever watched was Westerns. He was a Western kind of guy, and that was the only thing that I ever watched. I never watched Friends, I never watched Cheers, none of that. So binging on old sitcoms for me is kind of a lesson in the culture that I missed because I was so isolated. But I digress. There's my example for giving up. Giving up. I stopped looking in mirrors. I stopped exercising on a regular basis. I stopped caring when and what and how I would eat. I stopped caring about the way my clothes looked. One, it's really difficult to get clothes here, which is another whole story, but it's not an excuse. You can't just give up. I stopped giving up because I thought, I'm in retirement. My life's almost over. How much longer am I going to live? I've pretty much done a lot of things I never thought I'd do on my bucket list. I have a few more, but I don't have to do them. I'm pretty content. I could die at any time, so why make any goals? Have you ever had those thoughts? If you have, you're not alone, okay? So, what do you do to not give up? Gotta, like, get off the couch and move, right? Move, that's what we're doing. Move, that's what you're doing, right? We're doing jumping jacks and twists and toe touches. That's one step, okay? Look at your clothes. Get a couple of mirrors, put them up somewhere, or just look in the mirrors that you have. Start paying attention. You have some life to live. You're here for a reason. Don't get all carried away about it being a big purpose or anything. You're just here for a reason. It might be to smile at the grocery clerk today, but it's a reason. So don't give up. Make some goals. You still have some life. Don't just sit here and wait to die. So I gave that up. I'm making goals. And I'm actually reaching them too, much easier than I ever did in my 30s and 40s and 50s. We'll talk about that later too. Okay, that's number 3. Number 4, this curmudgeoning. You know curmudgeoning, like slowly turning into the old cranky person you never said you'd be. That's curmudgeoning. You just start judging everything, deciding you don't need to be a part of everything, or making sure that everybody knows your life is together more than everybody else's. It's not. Take me as I am because I'm old and I can do whatever I want. Yes, we can do whatever we want, but that doesn't mean we need to be curmudgeoning. And what do I mean by curmudgeoning? Stuck in your old beliefs, stories that you're telling yourself that may or may not be true, saying that not even trying to live in this very technologically challenging, social challenging, politically challenging world that we're in. We don't have to engage in it. All we need to do is be a quiet, calm, peaceful part in our community. That's all. You don't need to tell your opinion to everybody. They don't need to know. Don't be a curmudgeon back to the curmudgeons. We don't need any more of that. Think about what you're going to say before you say it. Keep your opinions to yourself if they're not really urgently needed in the matter that's being addressed. Pick your battles, especially with your children, and most of all, recognize your need for rubbernecking. And what I mean by that is we have all kinds of people around us, and they have all these situations, and just like you turn your head to look at a bad accident, a lot of times we turn our attention to look at those things in our lives that are interesting, fascinating, a little irritating perhaps, but we look at those things before we look at the beauty of the tree just standing there, because it's more interesting according to the way we've been socialized and programmed. Curmudgeoning, just look at where you might be able to be a little kinder. I gave up curmudgeoning for kindness. Can you see it? Can you see the moon? It's just going down. It was spectacular last night. I've given up ignoring the beauty of nature and exchanged it for, look at that beautiful full moon and my Jerusalem artichokes. Hope you've enjoyed this, and maybe you're thinking about giving a few things away in your life. Start today, and don't forget to exercise. 3 minutes every day. We call it the 21-day fitness move challenge. Have a great day. See you later. Bye.